Octopath Traveler II is a 2023 JRPG sequel to the original Octopath Traveler released back in 2018. I was a fan of the original game, having completed it all the way through to the final true ending, and while I did enjoy my time with it, there were some areas that left much to be desired. After collecting my thoughts upon completion of this sequel, barring a few tweaks here and there, Octopath Traveler 2 still remains essentially the same game as its first entry, albeit a better, improved version. For starters, the overall structure of the game will be familiar to returning players. There are 8 playable characters, each with their own storylines that you will move through at your own pace, with the final ending of the game revealing itself upon completion of all character story chapters. The combat system remains mostly the same, relying upon breaking enemies through revealed weaknesses and boosting your party's skills to dish out increased damage. One new battle mechanic introduced is that of latent powers. This is a rechargeable ability unique to each character that functions like a limit break, granting special actions that can turn the tides of battle if used wisely. Another new feature is that of the time of day toggle. You can now freely switch between daytime and nighttime, transforming the appearance of the environment, placement of NPCs, and even the game's soundtrack in a pleasant, smooth transition. Stronger monsters spawn at night as well, so this can be used to your advantage to gain greater experience and job points to strengthen your party. Path actions also make a return, however this time around they are affected by the time of day, therefore your character can perform certain actions on NPCs during the day and other actions during the night. I found these tweaks to Octopath Traveler 2 to be quite welcome, as they add just a slight bit more depth to previously familiar areas without fundamentally changing what worked in the original game. Adding to this is the return of the original game's composer, delivering yet another excellent soundtrack for this entry, as well as the gorgeous HD 2D style graphics that are amped up in this sequel with an obvious intent on greater production value in its presentation. I fell in love with the sweeping camera work scanning over towns, perspective changes during battle and story cutscenes, and delightful bokeh effects observed in the background image. The thing is, although I did enjoy my time with Octopath Traveler 2, and do believe it is a better game than the first one, I couldn't help but finish it thinking that it still failed to sufficiently address the criticisms of its prior entry, and that returning familiar aspects of the game in fact raised new criticisms. For one, the 8 primary jobs of your party members are the same as they were in the first game. Coupled with the fact that battle mechanics have largely been left untouched, I was able to immediately deploy battle strategies and job synergies I've already picked up from Octopath 1, and it's not clear to me whether the developers meant for this to be the intended experience for players like myself. This may bias my opinion, but despite my prior experience, I did find Octopath 2 to be a less punishing game for the first few character chapters, and also less grindy than Octopath 1. However, as I progressed further, I still observed some odd jumps in minimum recommended levels which, like the first game, were made worse by the lack of any option for reserved party members to gain experience. I understand that strength in Octopath is driven more off of party equipment and battle tactics. However, level gaps can only be ignored for so long until consequences begin to arise. Another area is that of the story itself. To its credit, there are additions here that succeed in adding more flavor compared to the first game. I found the individual character stories to make more of an attempt to add emotional weight, such as moments dealing with Oswald's family or Throne's journey for freedom from the criminal organization she was born into. Adding to this are crossed paths, which are short side quests involving 2 of your party members collaborating on an objective intended to enhance the narrative of the game. Again, while welcome additions, these unfortunately don't change the fact that the overall story still feels disjointed and lacks cohesion for all party members. In my opinion, some character stories were not as up to par as others in terms of executing moments of build-up and payoff, while others suffered from poor cliché archetypes, such as evil characters that are so laughably villainous that I had trouble taking the writing seriously. Overall, I think Octopath Traveler 2 is a pretty good JRPG worth playing as long as you know what you're getting into. Throughout your playthrough, you will be treated to gorgeous visuals, interesting battle mechanics that you can experiment with for hours, all set to the backdrop of a beautiful soundtrack. It's just that these qualities are what mostly drive the experience, not the storytelling itself, which is sort of hit or miss in my opinion. If you haven't played Octopath Traveler 1, have no worries, as you fortunately need no knowledge of it to jump into this sequel. And in fact, you may even enjoy this entry more, as you will have nothing to compare it to. In any case, if you're an RPG fan, I'd recommend checking this one out. Well, that's it for the video. As always, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel to be notified of when new videos release. And leave a comment letting me know what your thoughts were on Octopath Traveler 2. If you can't wait for a new video, feel free to check out my prior videos on this channel. See you in the next one.